Interest rate hike has been paused in America, at least. So the Federal Reserve have met yesterday and today, and they just announced that they are keeping interest rates on hold. So in this video, we're going to talk about why does that impact us in the UK, because it actually means quite a lot to us. So make sure you stick around and watch this video. Now, this channel has got so much content, I'm struggling to schedule it because there is so much going on this week. We've got EPCs, we've got interest rates, we've got inflation. There's so much. So what I really want to ask you to do is make sure that you smash that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. This is really a big week for property investors and homeowners. And even if you rent a property, there's a lot going on in the UK that matters to you. And if you could help me, I want to get more eyeballs on the channel. We're having crazy growth at the moment. I said yesterday that we had 50,000 views in 7 days. Well, we've now got it to 20,000 views in 2 days. So it's absolutely insane. So if you could help me grow this channel that little bit more by smashing the like button. Now, some of you don't like me saying to smash the like button. So if you don't want to smash the like button, just give it a little tickle, whatever it takes. Just touch that like button, please, guys. That really, really helps with the YouTube algorithm. So, the Federal Reserve. Now, this is the equivalent of the Bank of England, but in America. So, they set the interest rates there. Now, they got out a little earlier on inflation than we did. And the UK, we have a phrase that we follow the Fed. So, the Federal Reserve today has paused interest rates. Now, they have a range on their interest rates rather than an actual fixed number. And so they're sticking at 5.25 to 5.5% as a rate, which is the same. Now, the Federal Reserve have been raising rates at a really strong pace. They've done it 10 times recently. So 10 raises, which is pretty crazy. Not as much as us, but they've had some bigger raises than we did to get the rates up. And they've always been ahead of us. Now, here's one thing that happens when America raises rates. The dollar gets stronger, so investors want to pile into that currency. And so one way that is going to improve our inflation is if the pound gets stronger. And that has happened over the last 6 months, for sure. It was literally nearly $1 to a pound at one stage, which was horrendous for us. And so if the Fed raised the rate, then we are likely to follow suit. It's going to be something that we're very, very likely to do. If they pause, this gives a bit more of a chance that tomorrow's Bank of England meeting, we might see a pause as well. So let me know what you think about that. Now, our inflation is way out of kilter with theirs. So UK inflation's at 6.7 and America is at 3 something. I don't know what it is exactly, but they're in the 3% range and they nearly had it at 2 point something at one stage. Now, America isn't as dependent on the outside world as we are. They have loads of oil in the country. They can manufacture lots of stuff. They've got lots of farming land. They don't have to import stuff like the UK does on a tiny little island. But they're dealing with inflation way faster than we are, and they're still not happy with where it's at. It's at 3%. I'd be delighted if ours was at 3%, but they're still not happy with where it is. So the Fed is still going to look at this. They're not ruling out any more rate rises, as I don't think anyone is at the moment in any country. They will continue to look at it and monitor it, but it's good to see that they've paused, because it means we're more likely to pause tomorrow. It doesn't mean we will pause, right? We've still got really high inflation compared to those guys. So now analysts are saying it's getting a little bit more positive as the day goes on, but it's still roughly 50-50, right? It's still roughly 50% of analysts expect that tomorrow the Bank of England will go up 0.25%, and 50% of them think we will stop. Now, Mervyn King, who was the governor of the Bank of England, he has a good interview. You can find it on YouTube. It was on Sky News this week. He says, we shouldn't be raising rates anymore. We've done enough. We don't want to over-tighten. And all the 14 interest rate rises that we've already had in the UK are already playing out. Inflation is coming down. It takes time for that to happen. rate movement isn't going to necessarily push down inflation any further, any faster at all, because the inflation problem that we've got in the UK is oil, right? That isn't really impacted by interest rates. And so, yes, maybe one way that it will impact it a little bit is if we put our interest rates up, maybe the pound gets a bit stronger, so we can buy oil a little bit cheaper. But it's supply side stuff still that's the problem. And Mervyn King's saying, look, inflation is just going to sort itself out in time. Prices are rising less fast, they're still going up, but eventually that will run out of steam and you'll see inflation coming back down to a normal level. So his belief is that we shouldn't do anything, and if we did anything, it wouldn't really do much to bring that inflation under control. So where does this mean house prices might end up? Well, house prices are still in a difficult, precarious scenario, aren't they? You've got interest rates that are still really high. That means affordability is less. That means that you need a bigger deposit to get your property, and it means you can buy for less. The actual value that you can do is less. Now, at the moment, not lots of people are looking to buy. There's a lot of people sitting on the side, waiting to see what happens. And that, until that changes, or suddenly the market gets flooded with properties, because maybe there will be people that will finish the deals that they're on. They could be on a deal that's at 1%. Now they're going to get a 6% deal. And if that's interest only, that's going to hit you really hard. In that scenario, they might just want to offload that property very fast, and that will push the prices down very quickly, meaning people might then start to come back into the market, which would be a good thing as well. So it's interesting to see what America does. I think it does impact us here in the UK. We always seem to follow them. It's important for our currency that we're not too far off on interest rates with the Americans, for sure. But what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen now the Americans have paused? This is their second pause now. They paused in June as well, right? We haven't paused at all. We've just been going for it. As we said, 14 consecutive increases. Tomorrow is going to be a big day, and it's going to mean a lot for property investors. We really want to see a pause now. I think this is the time where we can really see inflation is going down. They're expecting it to drop significantly by Christmas. So let's just let this play out. Let's just see what happens. Banks, if you turn the interest rates up, they're not necessarily passing these interest rate rises onto the mortgages now. So we're not necessarily going to get a worse deal anyway, which is what Mervyn King's saying was, if you put the interest rates up again, what's it really going to do? Because these rates aren't necessarily getting passed on because the banks need business. So that's it. The Americans are keeping their rates the same. Fingers crossed we get the same tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Have a guess. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Do comment below. Do smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. I've got a lot of content that I need to get you out this week, and so you don't want to miss that. So hitting that bell will make sure you know when it's out. That's it from me. Do check out some other content on my channel. Go and watch this video right here.